Here's the truth. A lot of men get blindsided after 40 and they think it came out of nowhere. One day, she's your teammate, your wife, the mother of your kids, moving through life on autopilot with you. Then something shifts. New clothes, new energy, new attention to her appearance, new distance in her eyes. You feel it before you can explain it, and if you don't understand what's happening, you'll either blame her completely or blame yourself completely. Both are wrong. What you're about to hear isn't about hating women or excusing betrayal. It's about understanding a pattern that shows up in a lot of long-term relationships between 35 and 45. A midlife switch that some women handle with maturity and others let destroy everything. Most men never see it coming because they don't know what they're looking at. After this, you will. You'll know the emotional mechanics behind the shift, the stages it moves through, and what you can and cannot do when it starts. This isn't a script about controlling her. It's about controlling you, your awareness, your expectations, your responses, because you can't stop time, you can't rewrite her past, and you can't live her life for her. But you can learn to see the signs of a midlife identity crisis before it turns into a full-scale demolition of your marriage. You can protect your sanity, your children, and your future. And you can stop thinking you're crazy when your reality doesn't match the words coming out of her mouth. If you're ready to look at this with clear eyes, keep listening. Because once you understand how this switch works, you'll never look at your relationship the same way again. Number 1, the identity fracture. For a lot of women, especially in the modern world, their sense of value is built on one main pillar, being desired. It starts early. Compliments on her looks, attention when she walks into a room, validation every time a guy stares a little too long. She doesn't ask for that wiring, it's given to her. The world teaches her a simple formula: beauty equals worth, attention equals confirmation. From her late teens into her 30s, that system works. She doesn't have to chase it, it chases her. Men approach, DMs arrive, options are there. Even when she's in a relationship, she knows on some level she's wanted. That becomes part of her identity. Not just I am a woman, but I am a woman men want. Then one day, usually somewhere between 35 and 45, the mirror starts telling a different story. Not a horror story, just a different one. The face that once got constant reactions now gets polite smiles. The body that once turned heads now gets less response. She's still attractive, she's still a woman, but the level of automatic validation drops. If her self-worth is built on deeper pillars, character, purpose, contribution, this transition is uncomfortable but manageable. If her self-worth has been built mostly on being desired, this transition is an earthquake. The old identity starts to crack. Who am I if I'm not the woman every man looks at? Who am I if I'm not the one with endless options? Imagine a professional athlete losing speed. Their whole life they were special because they could do something physically others couldn't. Then age catches up. They're not useless, they're just no longer exceptional. That gap between who I was and who I am now is where the crisis lives. For many women, that's exactly what aging feels like. Not death, not disaster, just a painful downgrade of a role they were told would last forever. Number 2, the chemistry shift. The emotional storm isn't just in the mirror, it's in the brain. The way she experienced love, excitement, romance at 20 is not the same at 40. The same activities, the same gestures, the same routines do not produce the same chemical high. At 20, holding hands in public is thrilling. A kiss in the car is electric. A weekend away feels like a movie. Those moments flood her with dopamine, oxytocin, all the feel-good chemicals. By 40, those same actions are familiar, predictable. They don't hit as hard. Not because your love is gone, but because her brain has adapted. You show up, you pay the bills, you plan the trips, you stay faithful. You think consistency is the proof of your love, and you're right. But inside her nervous system, something else is happening. Predictable equals safe. Safe equals normal. Normal equals emotionally quiet. And when her identity is already shaking from the loss of youth validation, Quiet feels like death. Now she needs more stimulus to feel the same level of aliveness she used to get from simple romance. More novelty, more intensity, more risk. Not because she's evil, because her nervous system is hunting for a feeling she used to get for free. If she has emotional maturity, she can process this. She can say, okay, my brain wants fireworks, but what I actually need is depth. If she doesn't, she'll chase the old high instead of building a new foundation. That's where things get dangerous. Number 3, the culture gasoline. Her internal storm doesn't exist in a vacuum. It lives in a world designed to exploit it. Social media is full of glow-up stories, divorce celebrations, I left at 40 and never been happier, narratives. Algorithms feed her what she already feels, discontent, restlessness, the sense that she's missing out on a life other women are somehow living. She scrolls and sees women her age, starting over, dating younger guys, travelling, reinventing themselves. The struggles, the regret, the messy reality rarely make the highlight reel. Just the smiles, the beach pics, the quote posts about choosing yourself. Her brain draws a simple conclusion. They did it, I can too. Then come the conversations. Maybe with divorced friends, maybe with co-workers, maybe in group chats. Women who left their marriages and need constant reassurance that it was the right choice. They don't tell her, work on your marriage. They tell her, you deserve more. You sacrificed your 20s. You gave everything. You owe it to yourself to be happy. And if she's already feeling invisible, unattractive, restless, these messages feel like truth. They don't create her crisis. They justify it. They tell her that the discomfort she feels isn't a phase to be worked through. It's a sign she should burn everything down and start again. She starts to see her marriage not as a foundation, but as a prison. Not as a life she built, but as proof of what she's lost. Number 4. From nostalgia to withdrawal. This is where you start to notice shifts. At first, it looks harmless. She pulls out old photos, talks more about her fun days, the wild nights, the trips with friends, the ex-boyfriends, the spontaneous adventures. She laughs when she tells these stories. You might even smile with her, but pay attention to the difference between sharing a memory and living in it. If the past is something she remembers fondly and then returns to the present with gratitude, you're fine. If the past is something she romanticizes while looking at her current life with quiet resentment, that's different. Her eyes sparkle for who she was, not who she is. The gap grows. Then she starts changing things. New clothes, new hair, new gym routine. At first, that can be a good sign. Self-care is not a problem. But when it becomes an obsession with looking younger, recapturing a previous version of herself, or competing with women 10 years younger on Instagram, that's identity panic, not just health. Next, the emotional distance. More me time. More nights out with friends. More locked phone, more vague plans. I need space. I need to figure out who I am. She's physically present, but emotionally somewhere else. You feel her slipping away, but she keeps insisting everything is fine. That disconnect between what you feel and what she says starts to drive you insane. Number 5. When fantasy gets a face. Up to this point, most of the crisis is internal. The danger level spikes when one specific man enters the picture. Not just men out there who might find her attractive. One. A co-worker, a trainer, an old flame who suddenly messages her online. A guy at the gym who gives her just a little too much attention. Suddenly, the idea of I still have options has a name, a face, a chat history. It's no longer abstract. It's concrete. This man becomes the symbol of everything she thinks she's missing. Youth, desire, excitement, possibility. She may tell herself it's innocent. We're just talking. He's just a friend. He understands me. You start hearing his name a little too often. Or not at all. Both are signals. She guards her phone, changes her passwords, starts getting defensive over simple questions. Or she's unusually sweet, overly agreeable, almost as if she's compensating for a secret. You can feel something is off, but every time you bring it up, you're told you're paranoid, controlling, insecure. The more you push, the more she retreats into her fantasy. Not just of him, but of herself with him. The version of her that isn't a mom in sweatpants, isn't a wife doing school runs, but a woman being desired again. In her head, this man often isn't even real. He's a projection. A screen she's using to project all the feelings she thinks she lost. Some women catch themselves here. They pull back. They confront their own restlessness. Others keep going. And once the line is crossed into an emotional or physical affair, your marriage enters a different stage. Number 6. The narrative rewrite and the collateral damage. Now she needs a story. Humans can't live comfortably as the villain in their own mind. If she's about to blow up a family, step out on her vows, or walk away from a good man, she has to make sense of it. The easiest way is to rewrite history. Suddenly, your good years weren't real. The happy photos were fake. The laughter in those videos, an act. The love letters she wrote. I was trying to convince myself. The small arguments you used to resolve in a day become proof of long-term abuse. Normal human flaws become evidence that you were always the problem. You stand there with memories of vacations, inside jokes, shared struggles. She stands there with a new script. I've been unhappy for years. I was never truly myself with you. You never really saw me. It feels like your whole life is being erased in real time. You start questioning your own reality. Was it all fake? Were we living 2 different marriages? Meanwhile, the kids are caught in the crossfire. They don't understand midlife crisis. They don't understand identity panic. They just know mom and dad are splitting. They're moving houses, holidays are divided, schedules are complicated. She tells herself they'll be fine. They're resilient. Kids adapt. But children don't care about your journey. They care about stability. You watch her chase a feeling while the structure you built crumbles. And the brutal part, the world often claps for her. So brave, so strong, living her truth. Very few people sit with the man holding the broken pieces, or with the kids who just lost the only reality they knew. Number 7. What you can and cannot do. Here's the part you must hear clearly. You can't stop time. You can't stop her aging. You can't stop her from being influenced by friends, social media, or her own wounds. You can't force maturity into someone who doesn't want it. If she's determined to chase a fantasy, you cannot love her out of it. You are not the cure for her war with reality. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. Your power is in awareness and boundaries. First, you choose wisely on the front end. You pay attention to what she bases her identity on before marriage. Is she obsessed with attention? Is she addicted to being desired? Does she crumble without external validation? Or does she have a deeper core, values, purpose, character, beyond looks? Patterns at 20 don't magically disappear at 40. They compound. Second, you stay awake during the relationship. You don't ignore early signs of restlessness. You don't sleepwalk past her discomfort. When you feel her drift, you don't respond with panic or denial. You open real conversations. I feel you pulling away. What's going on? You suggest counselling. Not as an accusation, but as a team effort. If she engages honestly, there's hope. If she refuses every attempt at repair while increasing secrecy, that tells you something too. Third, you protect yourself and your kids if the line gets crossed. You document. You get informed. You secure your finances. You don't beg someone to stay who has already stepped out emotionally or physically and refuses accountability. You stand up straight, not to punish her, but to protect what's left of your life and their future. Most important, you don't let this define your worth as a man. Her crisis is not a scoreboard of your value. Could you have done things better? Of course, every man can. But you didn't build the culture she grew up in. You didn't wire her brain chemistry. You didn't create her unresolved wounds. You are responsible for your side of the street, not for her refusal to face reality. And here's the last uncomfortable truth. This pattern isn't every woman. There are women who hit 40 and grow wiser, deeper, more loyal. Women who understand that beauty fades, but character doesn't. Women who value being chosen once and kept, over being chosen over and over and discarded. They exist. They may not be loud online, but they're out there. Your job is not to fear all women. It's to understand patterns so you stop being blind. Your job is not to become bitter and closed. It's to become discerning, aware, grounded. Your power doesn't come from controlling her. It comes from mastering you. Your frame, your reactions, your decisions. Think about what you've just walked through. An identity built on being desired. A nervous system chasing old highs. A culture that rewards starting over instead of staying grounded. A slow slide from nostalgia to withdrawal. A fantasy that gains a face. A narrative rewrite that justifies destruction. Children caught in a story they didn't choose, and a man who either wakes up or gets wiped out. You can't change her story, but you can refuse to be naive inside it. You can learn to see the difference between a temporary phase and a full-blown pattern. You can learn to have hard conversations early instead of screaming in silence when it's too late. You can build a life, an identity, and a sense of worth that doesn't shatter because one person couldn't face aging with maturity. Real strength isn't pretending this can't happen. Real strength is knowing it can, understanding how it unfolds, and choosing to stay grounded anyway. Not paranoid, not hateful, just awake. If this resonated with you, don't just sit in anger. Use it. Reflect on the women you choose. Reflect on the man you are. Build yourself into someone who can stand in the middle of any storm, midlife, crisis, betrayal, whatever, and still stay steady. Because in the end, your power isn't in stopping her switch. It's in refusing to let it switch off who you are. You can't control time. You can't control her. But you can control how clearly you see, how calmly you act, and how strongly you rise. And that, as a man, is where your real future begins.